What hygiene rule did you learn only because someone said how gross it is to not do it, but they weren't talking about you? Washing my belly button with soap. I never really thought to do that growing up and no one told me I needed to. In my late teens, one of my friends admitted to our group that she dumped her, seemingly great, boyfriend because she was going down on him and kissing around and she smelled his belly button. She said she'd never smelled anything that particular type of disgusting before and she could never look at him the same way after that. I went home and checked my belly button out of fear that it might potentially ruin me getting a blowjob. And yeah. Smelled like death and sadness. Now I wash it along with everything else every morning. Claire, if you're reading this, thanks for the heads up so I won't be paranoid while getting head. This one is common. Working in medicine, I can attest firsthand I've seen many belly buttons that may never have been cleaned. When you're getting an abdominal surgery, they'll clean your skin with an antibacterial prep swab and they often get stones out of people's belly buttons from all the solidified gunk. Oh god, my parents absolutely failed to teach my hygiene. They did teach me not to give in to peer pressure. My young adult hygiene was awful, and though not giving in to peer pressure made it okay. For the love of God, make sure your acne-ridden teenager has a pillowcase and isn't just using a disgusting old pillow. Also, if you fail that, don't let them take the world's most disgusting pillow on school trips to be mocked. Edit, top 10 comment now about how I had terrible hygiene in high school, wonderful. Thanks for the support though. Raising a 4-year-old has made me realize this, and where they might have gone wrong. They grow up in such a slow creep. You wash them yourself for years thinking they're paying attention and just know how when they start washing themselves. I have started narrating everything I do and explaining why we do it. The transition into them wanting privacy happens quick and unexpectedly, and I think parents assume they've picked up the routine by then. That is possible, and I am the oldest, so I give them slack. Having kids of my own has certainly informed me on what led to it. But they have 9 kids, and I had to teach my youngest brother most of this stuff just like 4 years ago. This is after I, and the next 3 oldest siblings, have extensively informed my parents of the issue. As a new parent, this right here is something I keep trying to keep in mind both in hygiene and household tasks. My mother was unfortunately very depressed when I was a child/teen for unrelated reasons, and the house I grew up in was a mess. I mean, we had 7 cats, the laundry room was so piled with dirty clothes you couldn't reach the washer, and just trash in every corner of the home. I was embarrassed by it as a teen, but it wasn't my responsibility to fix. I hope I never put my child in the same situations as I was put in as a child. This is so true. I do my best to narrate and teach as well go, but the other day my 7-year-old was sick and had some poop escape unexpectedly. Poor guy was at soccer practice. When we got home I obviously had him shower and he said he was done, and just to confirm I said, "You washed your butt well?" And he was like, "With soap?" And I was like, "Yes, with soap." Somehow the fact that we need to wash out butt cracks with soap got missed. I guess because he took baths until recently and usually sitting in soapy water is enough for a kid who wipes well and has been taught to wet the TP on the last wipe or use the bidet in the master bathroom. Made me question all my parenting, though.
Hey, don't scroll to the next thread. Please just subscribe, like and hit the bell, or you will miss the next wild Reddit story. I'm already working on it, so see you in the next video.
Washing my hands the second I'm home. Never know what you're touching out there and bringing it into your house. This was something I didn't start until COVID, and I'm astounded at all the times I never washed my hands coming in from the outside world. Since we've been in this practice we rarely fall ill now. I take public transit for work. First thing I do when I get home is wash my hands. And clean your phone as you've been touching it with dirty hands all day. Scrubbing your scalp gently with your fingertips when shampooing. I had dandruff for years as a teen, and then I started doing this and the problem has been gone for over 10 years. I used to use my fingers, but I recently got this little scalp scrubber and it's so good. It's round, fits in your hand, and has lots of soft silicone spikes that massage your scalp. They're sold everywhere, doesn't matter what brand. Highly recommend for the suds alone. Edit, I just checked and my scrubber has very smooth silicone that doesn't pull on your hair. I can imagine that the grippy/rubbery silicone would definitely catch and pull on your hair. Why would they even make that version? Do they pull out hair? I have, like, 6 strands of hair, and every one is a precious baby that must be protected. I'm scared to try one of these because even using my fingers pulls strands out, sad face. Nope. It hasn't caused more shedding for me. I think long term it'll actually promote hair growth because you're gently stimulating the scalp and follicles, which leads to increased blood flow and hair growth. Happy scalp, happy hair. Just use small circular motions. Large motions might cause tangles, which then lead to more breakage and shedding. Also, have you tried detangling your hair before you shower? My shedding decreased a lot when I started doing that. Water temporarily weakens your hair strands, so it's better to brush beforehand. Changing towels every few days and sheets every week. Yeah, in college a friend mentioned Saturday is her sheet changing day, and it made me realize changing sheets 1 to 2 times a year must be not the norm. Thanks Megan. Wearing an undershirt under a polo shirt. Hides chest hair and nipples. Prevents some sweat through. I had a boss mock me for doing that. Wearing an undershirt under, well, my shirt, just made sense, like a suit shirt, buttoned up and everything. I'm sorry if it's unclear what I'm talking about. I'm losing words. I didn't even respond to him because he wasn't wearing an undershirt and he had the biggest sweat spots. It was so gross. And yeah, if your shirt is kinda thin, I wouldn't want everyone to see my nipples through it either, but his was right there. Dumbass idiot boss. When I was a teenager in my young 20s I would sweat from my underarms so badly I would have pit stains all day. Disgusting, I know. I was considering Botox just for some relief. Turns out it was my body wash. My body wash was not properly cleaning my underarms and my deodorant couldn't work. I switched to normal Dove soap and no more sweating. So many issues can be caused by bad/wrong for you body wash. My best friend had folliculitis on his back for years and several treatments failed to work. I eventually convinced him to stop using Dollar Tree body wash because he was worried about getting wrinkles young, was also using it instead of face wash, and his skin being super dry even if he used lotion. Lo and behold, not only did his skin stop feeling dry, the folliculitis cleared up within a week of the switch. No treatment ongoing at the time. When I was maybe 12 or 13 I learned that for women with long hair, it's best to not get conditioner directly on the scalp but rather just the long parts. I hadn't realized why my hair was greasy before that. Yes. Shampoo should really only go on your scalp/roots, and conditioner on the ends of your hair, off the scalp. It also depends on your hair texture. I have to condition my roots. I'm a qualified hairdresser, because my hair is curly and gets dry very easy due to the heat I use, so I need the moisture. If you have straight or just about wavy hair and don't use heat, don't put conditioner on your scalp. If you don't rinse well enough, which most people don't, you'll also get product buildup on your scalp from conditioner, and if you are prone to greasy hair you should be shampooing twice. I never realized you needed to wash your sheets as often as you do. I guess my parents always did it while I was at school, so I only have 5 to 6 memories in my whole childhood of taking my sheets off to get them washed, and once was after I threw up all night. Wasn't until like January of freshman year of college when someone mentioned washing their sheets when I said, "You wash your sheets?" And the look they gave me was, "Yeah, I wash my sheets now." To wash your legs, not just let soap run down them. I was 45 and a friend admonished her husband for putting away the nail clippers after using them without washing them. And her husband, my husband, and I all sort of blankly stared at different walls and then each other. And my husband said, very quietly, "Have you ever washed nail clippers?" And we both slowly shook our heads. Just a little bit of rubbing alcohol so it doesn't rust. Bidet. Once you shoot water into your bee-hole on the daily you'll never be satisfied with toilet paper clean again. Was getting extremely itchy around the inside of my legs between my girl part and leg. Turns out when I bought new underwear it completely stopped. The underwear I had for 8 years mustn't have been washing properly after all those years, and sweat must have been stuck in them even though they weren't stained. Fresh new ones took all the irritation away. So, if you keep old undies make sure any irritation isn't because they need replacing. Showering before going to sleep. Especially true after working all day. I've had classmates wonder why I wasn't showering in the morning and say it was gross. Buddy, I change my bed sheets weekly and I go to bed after showering. I'm clean motherfucker. I grew up in a neglectful household and was never taught to change my sheets ever, so I had no idea that they needed to be washed regularly. I'm 18 now and out of that place, and wash my sheets once a week. I always feel so much cleaner. Same here. My mom was an amazing person who I could talk to about anything, but she was a terrible housekeeper. She had severe depression and spent most of my childhood in bed. Because she was there but not present, she didn't impart much cleaning, body or home, wisdom to me. I learned so much by listening to people around me and reading Cosmo, 17 and Reader's Digest, but never revealing that I had no idea. My BFF once told me so sweetly that I needed to ask my mom to go to the mall and buy deodorant and a bra. I was embarrassed but so grateful she did. I was bordering on being the stinky girl in class, and we all know how mean girls can be. I believe this is why I now own 7 sets of sheets and blankets, 40-ish bras, and keep baby deodorants everywhere, like my purse, car, work, etc. This is also why I remind my children and now grandchildren to help instead of judge. I'm so glad you also are figuring things out, and Reddit is such a great resource.